Hello friends, welcome in this new video session. Here I am talking about, here I will discuss with you about the kinematic motion of a particle or the branch of that mechanics which is called kinematics. So kinematics is a part of mechanics, part of classical mechanics, which deals with the motion of a particle without considering the cause of motion. Okay, so kinematic motion means it is under the branch of the study kinematics. And what is kinematics? Kinematics basically deals, kinematics is that branch of mechanics which deals with the motion of a particle without considering the cause of the motion. Okay, and if we consider the motion of the particle along with its cause of the motion, then that branch of mechanics is called dynamics. So we will study this dynamics portion in later sessions. Right now we will study about the kinematic motion of a particle or the branch kinematics, which is all about the motion of a moving particle. This motion may be linear motion and non-linear motion. Linear motion may be of two types. Linear motion, one is the linear motion of a particle or a system of particle. Another non-linear motion. Another is the non-linear motion. Here we are interested about the study of the linear motion. In the non-linear motion, the path traversed by the particle will be different under different conditions of external forces and all. We will study this non-linear motion in later sessions. Right now, we will study simply the linear motion of a moving particle, which is under the branch called kinematics. Okay. So first of all, while studying the kinematic motion of a particle, you should be familiar with some basic parameters of a moving particle. What are the basic parameters of a moving particle? We all know that any particle, we have discussed in our vector session, we all know that any particle which any particle in motion or any particle in space can be described by a position vector. Any particle in a space, suppose it is a two-dimensional space and P is a point particle, then this point P can be represented by a position vector joining from the origin to the point P, which is called R vector. Now for the motion of this point P, if this point P is now moving, suppose this point P is now moving in a moving state, then this R will be, this position vector will be a function of time, will be time dependent. This position vector R of this moving particle, if the particle P is now moving, suppose it is moving in this direction, then this position vector will be a changing parameter and it will become a function of time, it will become time dependent. This is the basic concept of motion of a particle. So the first parameter which we will study is the displacement of a particle. Okay, a displacement of a particle is defined by the change of position of the particle. A displacement of a particle, of a moving particle, is defined by the change of position of that particle. Suppose a particle is traversing the path like this. This is the path traversed by a particle during its motion. It is a point P which denotes the initial point of the initial position of the particle, and suppose this is the point Q which denotes the final position of the particle. So and suppose with respect to arbitrarily chosen origin O, the position vector of the point P is R1 vector and the position vector of the point Q, it is R2 vector. Therefore, what is displacement of the particle? Displacement is the change of position of the particle. That is, displacement is from P to Q. Suppose it is S, displacement denoted by S, it is vector quantity. Therefore, in this diagram we can have R1 vector plus S vector equal to R2 vector by triangular law of vector addition, by triangular rule of vector addition. Therefore, S, the displacement vector, is basically R2 vector minus R1 vector equal to delta R vector. That is, S vector is basically, the displacement vector is basically the change of position of the particle from its initial point to final point. Okay. So this is the displacement of the particle. Now we have learned in many textbooks as well that the displacement of a particle is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. So displacement of a particle is a vector quantity and distance is a scalar quantity. So displacement of a particle is the shortest distance between P and Q. This definition is not correct in every sense, in vectorial sense. We have to say that the magnitude of distance is equal to the shortest distance between the the magnitude of the displacement is equal to shortest distance, minimum distance between the final and initial position of the particle. If P is the final position, Q is the initial, Q is the final position, and P is the initial position, then we have mod of displacement equal to minimum distance between P and Q. Okay. So this is the basic difference in distance between the initial position and the final position and the displacement of the particle. So we have done the displacement of particle is a change of position. Let us note it down here. Displacement of a moving particle is the change of position delta r. Okay. Again, another basic parameter for this kinematic motion of a particle is the velocity of a particle. The velocity. What is the velocity of a particle? The velocity of a particle is defined as the change of displacement, time rate of change of displacement, or the time rate of change of position vector. So, what is the velocity of a particle? The velocity of a particle is defined v. It is written as v vector is equal to time rate of displacement. Time rate of displacement. Either you can say it as a time rate of displacement. Suppose in delta t, a particle covers the displacement. A particle has the displacement s in time duration delta t. Then what will be velocity v? Velocity v is defined as time rate of displacement or rate of change of position vector. S equal to delta r delta t. Okay. So velocity of a particle is the time rate of change of displacement, time rate of displacement, or the change of time rate of change of the position vector. Okay. So it is a velocity of a moving particle. Now, suppose we say that we have to find the velocity of a particle at a certain instant of time. Suppose this is the motion of a particle. Suppose it is the motion of a particle. A particle is traversing this path. And suppose you have to find the instantaneous velocity of a particle when the particle is at the position P. So in this time at position P you have to find the instantaneous position of a particle. So how can you find the instantaneous position of a moving particle? Suppose it is delta r, it is delta t. Okay. So for instantaneous position of a particle, this delta t must be infinitesimally small. This delta t must be infinitesimally small. Therefore, instantaneous velocity, it is a very important definition. Instantaneous velocity is given by limit delta t tends to 0 delta r by delta t, and it is eventually becomes dr by dt. dr by dt. So instantaneous velocity of a moving particle is equal to dr by dt, where r is the position of the particle at a certain instant. Okay. So it is the definition of the instantaneous velocity of a moving particle. Again, we have another term called the average velocity. What is average velocity of a moving particle? What is average velocity of a moving particle? This average velocity of a moving particle is defined as v average equal to total displacement of the particle, total displacement of the particle, total displacement by total time taken, by total time taken, time interval, say total time interval. Okay. Therefore it will be S. Suppose at time interval delta t1 it traverses a displacement s1, again s2 plus s3 plus dot dot. Okay, and the time interval delta t1 plus delta t2 plus delta t3 plus dot dot. So the total displacement traversed by the particle in a certain time interval by is s1 at time interval delta t1, s2 at time interval delta t2, s3 displacement is covered in time interval delta t3. Therefore the average velocity is given by total displacement by total time taken by the moving particle. Again, I will now like to discuss about the another form of this average velocity. So for understanding the average velocity or the average of any parameter actually, you must learn one thing. It is a concept basically. Suppose we have a graphical plot of any function. This is y-axis, this is x-axis. Suppose you have a graphical plot like this. So this is a graphical plot of a function fx. Therefore y equal to fx in this case, fx in this case. Suppose we have two limits of x. At x equal to a we have the value of the function at this point fx1 suppose, and at x equal to b we have set another limit x equal to b. Therefore the average of this parameter y in this interval a to b can be given by y bar or y average. Y bar means y average, or you can denote it by y bracket. So these are all the notations of writing the average of a function. So y bar equal to y average equal to y bracket equal to 1 by b minus a integration a to b y dx. So this is the definition of average, of finding the average of a moving particle, the average of any function actually. Suppose you have two limits a and b, so within this interval a to b, what will be the average value of this function y? It will be 1 by b minus a integration a to b y dx. Okay. And what is integration a to b y dx? Integration a to b y dx is basically the area of this curve within the limit a to b. It is basically the area of this curve within the limit a to b. Okay. So from this sense actually you can also write that the average velocity, what will be the average velocity of a moving particle? So for velocity, which graph we should take for velocity, for finding velocity? It is a very important question actually. Which curve you should use for finding which graphical plot of which parameter versus which parameter is to be taken, is to be considered for finding out the velocity of a particle. We have discussed that velocity is the time rate of change of position of a moving particle. Therefore you should take the position time graph, the RT graph. You should take the position versus time graph for finding out the velocity. You cannot take the displacement and time graph. You cannot take displacement time graph for finding velocity. This is in wrong sense basically. Why? Because we have told that velocity is basically the time rate of change of position of a particle. Okay. And it is the time rate of displacement of a moving particle. So if A is equal to delta R equal to R2 minus R1, we have said. Okay. So you cannot take time rate of change of displacement. You have to take time rate of change of position of a moving particle for finding out the velocity. You can use this ST graph in only one case, when R1 is 0, when R1 is set at the origin, when the initial point of the moving particle is set at the origin of this chosen coordinate system, and R2 is R, that is the final position of the particle. If you set R2 at a final position of the moving particle and R1 at the origin of this coordinate system, then you can choose ST graph for finding out velocity of a moving particle. Otherwise, the correct sense of finding out the velocity of the moving particle is from RT graph, that is position versus time graph. You have to take the position versus time graph for finding out the velocity of a moving particle. Okay, and in a special case, in a certain condition imposed, you can use this ST graph for finding out velocity when the initial position of the particle is at the origin O, and we have set the final position of the particle at any point R. So we will always choose the position versus time graph for finding out the velocity of a moving particle. So here, in this position versus time graph, suppose the particle is traversing this path. So we have two time limits T1 and T2 say. In this time interval, we have to calculate the average velocity of the particle. So what will be the average velocity of the particle? V average or V bar equal to 1 by T2 minus T1 integration T1 to T2 integration T1 to T2. This area of the moving particle, it will indicate the area. This integral form, it is V dt. Okay, it is the average velocity of the moving particle. By using this curve, we have find out the average velocity of the moving particle. Okay. So This is another form of finding out the average velocity of a moving particle. 1 minus 1 by t2 minus t1 integration t1 to t2 v dt. Okay. Another thing is that in a certain coordinate system, we always choose the independent variable. You should keep it in mind that we always choose the independent variable along x-axis, and the dependent term or the dependent variable along y-axis. And dependent variable is always chosen in y-axis, and independent variable is always chosen as the x-axis, where y equal to function of x. Okay, so y is the dependent variable, it is dependent upon the value of x, and x is the independent variable which is chosen along the x-axis. So in every kinematical graph, you find the either you take the position time graph, you take the velocity time graph, you take the acceleration versus time graph. The time is always plotted along the x-axis because it is the independent variable, and the position, the velocity, or the acceleration, these are all time dependent parameters, and these are chosen along the y-axis in a two-dimensional motion of the particle, in case of two-dimensional motion of the particle. So we have discussed about the instantaneous velocity of the moving particle and the average velocity of the moving particle. So after that, we will discuss another basic parameter, which is the acceleration of a moving particle. The acceleration of a moving particle. Acceleration. So this acceleration of a moving particle is defined as the time rate of change of the velocity of a position of a moving particle. So acceleration vector is denoted by time rate of change of velocity, time rate of change of velocity of a moving particle, delta v by delta t. Okay, the acceleration defined as the time rate of change of velocity of a moving particle. Again, we have the instantaneous acceleration for a moving particle, and for the motion of a particle you also have the average acceleration. So the instantaneous acceleration of a moving particle is defined as limit delta t tends to 0, delta v by delta t, and this term comes out as dv dt. This is from the definition of differential. Again, we have the average velocity a bar equal to a average or bracket a, whatever notation you use to choose, equal to 1 by t2 minus t1 integration t1 to t2 a dt. Okay. Again, so these are the instantaneous acceleration of a moving particle and the average acceleration of a moving particle. Next, we will define another parameter, which is the momentum of a moving particle. What is the momentum of a moving particle? In case of a particle in motion, the momentum is defined by the product of mass of the moving particle and the velocity of the moving particle in the certain direction. Therefore, what will be the momentum of a moving particle? The momentum is defined as p vector equal to mass of the moving particle m into velocity of the moving particle. This is the momentum of a particle in motion. Okay, this is the momentum. Now we will discuss here about some basic kinematic equation of motion of the moving particle. We know what are the kinematic equation that governs the motion of a moving particle. Now we have for two cases, for uniform motion. For uniform motion, what is meant by uniform motion? The uniform motion means in this motion the acceleration term is 0 and the particle is moving with uniform velocity v, with a constant velocity v. and mod of v equal to constant. The particle is moving with a constant velocity v with zero acceleration. Then this type of motion is called the uniform motion of a particle. And in case of uniform motion of a particle, what are the equations that governs the motion of a particle? The equations are suppose in this case we must have the graphical plots like suppose it is a ST graph, displacement versus time graph. Then the equation of this graphical plot of motion is given by S equal to S0, it is S0 plus Vt, S0 plus Vt. These are all the magnitude parts actually. Magnitude of displacement equal to initial displacement of the particle plus V into T. Okay, and V is the velocity of the moving particle. Again, we have another case. Suppose the particle is starting its journey from the origin of this chosen coordinate frame. Then in that case, the ST graph, the equation of this ST graph will be A is equal to Vt, A is equal to V into T. Another case which is possible for uniform motion is in case of Vt graph. What will be the nature of the Vt curve for this uniform motion? The nature of the Vt curve will be, we have told that velocity is constant. This is V, this is T. Velocity is constant, that means it will be a straight line parallel to the T axis. This is the nature of the Vt curve for uniform motion of a particle. Now, for non-uniform motion, for another case is for the non-uniform motion of a particle. What will be the governing equations for non-uniform motion? Non-uniform motion. For non-uniform motion. Therefore, for non-uniform motion, we have the cases as follows. Suppose we have the ST curve. First of all, we will discuss about the ST curve. This is T. So the ST curve, the equation of the ST curve will be A is equal to S0 plus ut plus half a t square. A is equal to S0 plus ut plus half a t square. Okay. So in this case of non-uniform motion, we have this equation. So how can we prove that? Suppose S0, for S0 equal to 0, for S0 equal to 0, the nature of this equation will be A is equal to ut plus half a t square. Okay, this will be the nature of the equation of the ST graph. Here u is the initial velocity of the particle and a is the acceleration of the particle. Suppose we have the Vt curve. So what will be the Vt curve in this case for non-uniform motion? It will be the Vt curve. So this Vt curve will follow the trend like this. So it will be V equal to u plus at. V equal to u plus at, where V is the magnitude of the final velocity of the particle after time t, and u is the initial velocity of the particle, and e is the acceleration of the particle, of the moving particle. So from this graphical plot, suppose we have two time intervals t1 and t2, two time intervals t1 and t2, and suppose we have this trapezium. We denote this trapezium corners as, suppose ABCD, A, B, C, D. Therefore, what will be the area of this trapezium? What will be the area of this trapezium? Area of the trapezium equal to half into sum of the parallel sides AD plus CB into distance between them distance between them is AB. Okay, so it will be equal to, half into AD plus CB. What will be AD? Suppose this is the initial term U plus CB equal to V plus AT. Okay. Into AB. What will be AB? AB will be equal to T. And this area will give you the displacement covered by the particle. But A is equal to half into U plus so it will be V actually. What is CB? CB is the final velocity. CB is the final velocity. It will be V and it will be U. Okay, please correct it. This is U, AD, the initial velocity, and the final velocity, value of the final velocity CB is U. This is V. So U plus, what is V? V equal to U plus AT into T. So it is equal to half into twice U plus AT into T. Therefore, A is equal to UT plus half AT square. So this was the equation of the ST curve that we obtained earlier for the case of the non-uniform motion, where the particle is moving with acceleration A and initial velocity is U. So basically the displacement of a moving particle is area enclosed by the VT curve under a certain time interval. Within a certain time interval, the area enclosed by the VT curve gives you the displacement. Okay. And it was the concept of this average velocity actually. In case of average velocity, you have studied that V average equal to total displacement by total time, equal to integration dr from T1 to T2 by the time interval T2 minus T1. Okay, so it was integration T1 to T2 V dt by T2 minus T1. So this integral term, integration T1 to V dt, basically gave you the displacement of the particle in motion. Okay, so the area enclosed by the Vt curve will give you the displacement S, and we have obtained graphically that it's equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, so this was the nature of the velocity time graph for a moving particle, and the equation of motion was v equal to u plus at. Okay, so for u equal to 0, if we put u equal to 0, if the initial velocity is 0, then the graphical plot will be like this. Then the Vt curve will look like this. This is v equal to u at. V equal to at. Okay. Now, for non-uniform motion of the particle, if the acceleration is negative, in that case, in all the earlier curves, we have considered that the particle is moving with a positive acceleration, that is a greater than 0. Now, for the case that a is less than 0, or the particle is moving with a retardation, then the ST curve will look like this only. This is the ST curve, and the equation of this curve is A is equal to ut minus half at square. Ut minus half at square. This is the ST curve for the moving of the motion of a particle when the particle is moving with negative acceleration or retardation. Okay. So these are the certain graphical plots for uniform motion of a particle and for the non-uniform motion of a particle. After that, we will again study about the certain motions of a particle. Suppose for the kinematic motion of a particle, we can again define a term which is called the relative velocity of a particle. The relative velocity. What is defined by the relative velocity of a particle? Now, again, we can define a certain time. We can define a certain term for the two motion particle, for the two particle motion. For two particle motion, we can define a certain term which is called the relative velocity of one particle with respect to another particle. Suppose there are two particles A and B, and the velocity of A is given by Va and the velocity of B is given by V. Then in that case, we can define a term relative velocity which is given by relative velocity of A with respect to B is denoted by VAB equal to Va minus V. So this is the relative velocity of A with respect to B, and it is given by Va, velocity of A minus velocity of B. Because we know that vectorically, suppose there are two particles in a space. Okay, suppose there are two particles A and B, and the position vector of A will be Ra with respect to any arbitrarily chosen origin O, and the position vector of B will be Rb with respect to the same arbitrarily chosen origin O. Then the relative position of A with respect to B is given by Rab. In this sense, the relative position of A with respect to B is given in this sense. Therefore, Rab equal to Ra minus Rb, Ra minus Rb vectorically. We can write down Rab equal to Ra minus Rb, that is the relative position of A with respect to B equal to position vector of A minus position vector of B. Therefore, ddt of, now taking time differential in both sides, ddt of Rab is equal to ddt of Ra minus ddt of Rb. That is, we can write down Vab is equal to Va minus Vb. So we have derived the relative velocity of a particle A with respect to B is given by Va minus Vb. Similarly, the relative velocity of B with respect to A is given by Vba equal to Vb minus Va. So this is the relative velocity. This relative velocity actually comes if it depends actually on the reference frame actually. Suppose in a realistic case, suppose this is a train. Suppose this is a train moving in this direction. Suppose the train is moving in this direction with a certain velocity, say 100 km per hour. 100 km per hour. Okay. And here we have two passengers. This is passenger A. Suppose you have two passengers here, A and B. Suppose you have two passengers A and B within the train. Okay. Now B is running towards A at a speed of 5 km per hour. Suppose B is running towards A at a speed of 5 km per hour, and there is another person C outside the frame of this train, outside this system, that is a person C. So C is standing outside this train, outside this system. So for A, B is running towards A at a speed of 5 km per hour. Okay. And for C, what will be the velocity of B with respect to C in this case? What will be the velocity of B with respect to C in this case? The train is moving with a velocity of 100 km per hour, and B is moving in opposite direction with a velocity of 5 km per hour. Therefore, what will be the velocity of B with respect to C? The velocity of B with respect to C will be velocity of B with respect to C will be velocity of B minus velocity of C, will be velocity of B minus velocity of C. Now what is the velocity of B? Velocity of B, actually velocity of B with respect to C will be velocity of B with respect to train minus velocity of C. Because for C the train is moving in this direction at a speed of 100 km per hour and B is moving in the opposite direction at a speed of 5 km per hour. Therefore, for this person C, the velocity of B will be velocity of B with respect to train minus velocity of C. And velocity of C is 0 in this case because this person is standing in the ground, say, outside this system. Therefore, velocity of B minus velocity of T. Okay. equal to height. If we take the magnitude part, mod of 100. Okay, so this will be the velocity of minus 95. So this will be the velocity of B with respect to C, with respect to a person standing outside this system. Okay. So therein comes the importance of the relative velocity. Okay. With respect to A, B is moving with the speed of 5 km per hour, but with respect to C, the velocity of B is different because B is within the train which is moving at a speed of moving at a speed of 100 km per hour. The train itself is moving at 100 km per hour, and B is again in motion at 5 km per hour. Then with respect to C, the motion of B will be different than that with respect to A. So here comes the importance of the relative velocity term. Okay. So it was an example for illustrating you the relative velocity, how the relative velocity varies for different particles actually by depending on the different circumstances. Similarly, there will be relative acceleration. And relative acceleration is given by A equal to A. Suppose relative acceleration of particle 1 with particle 2 is given acceleration of 1 minus acceleration of 2. This is the relative acceleration. So these are the few basic parameters which you need to understand regarding the linear motion of a particle. And I have shown you the kinematical equations in this video also. What are the different kinematical equations and what are the nature of the different graphs governing the motion of this particle in either in uniform motion or in non-uniform motion, in uniform linear motion or in non-uniform motion. Okay, so we have discussed all these basic parameters in this video, and if you feel any doubt regarding any discussions made here, you can comment in the section below. Thank you.